Hi, I'm Scott 1984 FP. I am Scott 1984 FP. I have been permanently banned and suspended as of 2023 on twitter.com, that is twitter.com, where Elon Musk would love to make X digital currency for BRICS, that is X digital currency for BRICS. He would like to make that is Elon Musk. I was temporarily suspended between December 2022 to April 2020, April 2023, that was correct. I won an appeal, or I snuck through. I kept appealing, and then within a couple of weeks of 23, I was permanently suspended. My account is a nobody account, I've had it since August 2009. I saw what the elites were doing, I saw what the dictatorships were doing, and I knew what the Conservative GOP was up to in America. I knew what Boris Johnson was up to. I knew what Rishi Sunak was up to. I knew what Russia, China, and India had hoped, along with the conservatism elite capitalists. They had hoped that the UK, the USA, France, and Italy had left the EU, left the European Court of Human Rights, had joined BRICS, hand over Taiwan, hand over Gaza, hand over Ukraine, and then it would have been Russia, India, China, the UK, the USA, Italy, France under conservative, far-right, toxic dictatorships. They would have sold our country down the river and we would have become a dictatorship. What got in the way was COVID-19. COVID-19 was real. I had it once before I ever heard of any jabs being created. I suffered very heavy breathing problems on the stairs that I'd lived on those stairs in my house for 4 years. I'm asthmatic. I suffer from complex regional pain syndrome type 1. I've had 6 biotech coronavirus vaccinations between 2020 to 2023. I didn't manage to turn on my 5G as lots of tin hat conspiracy theorists were thinking, and I haven't been turned off by 5G either. And I've only had COVID twice, once before any jabs existed, before they even knew they could make jabs. And when I found that there were 6 types of jabs, I did my research, and I would have refused the Moderna jab, and I would have refused the AstraZeneca jab, because they cause blood clotting, or if you have an underlying bleeding problem. I heavily bruise quite a lot. I have bad piles. Sometimes my blood doesn't clot, not to the point that it's bad, but you do not want that. So I was happy to have Biotech's Pfizer because I'd studied it and researched it. The fact that AstraZeneca has pulled it now in 2024, the research was there in 2020 and 2021. AstraZeneca had medical journals that were peer reviewed that said in certain cases this can cause blood clotting or problem with the blood clotting. COVID wasn't fake. I've had flu throughout history. I've never had these symptoms of being heavily struggling with the stairs for months. And I got it at the same time that my ex-partner got it. I got it at the same time everyone else got it, before the jabs bloody existed. You do not remember that Chinese dictatorship hide everything. This probably started in 2018, 2019. They didn't tell anyone. Boris Johnson couldn't be bothered to attend 5 emergency Cobra meetings based on COVID. This was way before we knew about it in January 2020, February 2020, March 2020, April 2020. You're all being played the new game now as if they can't get a conservative and dictatorship. Why the hell do you think Trumpy Face and GOP tried to fucking do a treasonous coup on the 6th of January 2020? Because BRICS had warned people, if you can't take over your fucking country as a conservative and dictatorship, hand over Taiwan, hand over Ukraine, hand over Gaza, and probably a lot more. The goal is to recontrol Africa, and it is to recontrol the Middle East, and it is to turn us against every single mixed race Muslim. Because guess what? They have more children, you morons. They're having more children than we white men, we white women. And people like Rupert Murdoch and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Elon Musks of this world and the Nigel Farages, they don't want to pay collective taxes. So in South Korea, no one can afford a fucking child. In Japan, no one can afford a fucking child. In the UK, no one can afford a fucking child. And same in the USA. But Muslims, they have more children, and they're from mixed different races. Yeah, often the brown people that those white elites don't like. And they have more children, and they have more family orientated, like Italy. They look after their elders, like Japan does. But the UK doesn't do that. The USA doesn't do that. France doesn't do that. Germany doesn't do that. Australia doesn't do that. Canada doesn't do that. New Zealand doesn't do that. When we're losing billions and trillions worldwide in taxes, and we can't afford to fucking live, they play nasty games. Remember the word frenemies. That means they're enemies, but they're also friends. And they will shank each other when they need to. And that is the UK, France, Italy, China, the USA, Russia, and the Israeli state. Those are the 7 countries that fucking rule the world. And they've been ruling it since World War I, World War II. And if you look deeper into history and you look deeper into Zionism, Zionists were given Uganda by the Great British Empire unanimously at the 6th annual Zionist meeting. Then the Danish colonizers, imperialists that were in Africa, said it would be unfair to be displaced by non-locals, without a sense of fucking irony, that Danish people are not local to Africa. They wrote in the largest African paper, this embarrassed the Great British Empire. They said, sorry, Zionists, I know in the 6th annual meeting, we gave you Uganda by 400 votes or whatever it was at the time. You can do your own bloody research. Don't be spoon-fed. Zionism, conservatism, dictatorships, terrorism, religious extremism, they created your education. They want you dumb. They want you bigots. They want you to be bigots, angry, vile, fucking bigots, uneducated. Because then they steal trillions. They make sure genocides happen in the Congo, the Sudan, Niger. In China, they have Muslims in reprogramming camps. Yes, that is right. Reprogramming Muslims to not sign up to any religion other than China dictatorship. And if they do not submit and do not step away with the Islam faith, they stay in those bloody torture prisons. You are being played by 7 countries. Do your fucking history. Conservatism, toxic. Do you think any royal family in the world that went invading half the world as Europe and the Great British Empire, do you think they're woke? Do you think they're left? Do you think they support Black Lives Matter? Do you think they really support lesbian, gay and trans and bisexuals and more? Do you think they really support the disabled? Do you think they really give a shit about the 99%? How fucking thick are you morons? And we are going to World War III because we as 99% can't unite. We're everywhere. We could turn off the submarines and bombs tomorrow if we were united.